Hello, welcome to the Franz van Kat interview. I'm Nat Young. Once again, tensions between India and Pakistan are at a high over the disputed Kashmir territory. On Thursday, Pakistan says that one of its soldiers was killed by Indian troops while standing on Pakistani territory. This comes after the deaths of 2 Indian soldiers after what Delhi says was a Pakistani raid. And that came in the wake of Pakistan announcing that one of its soldiers had died in an Indian attack. Both sides have denied provoking the clashes, which once more is endangering that fragile ceasefire that's been in place since 2003. The 2 nations claim Kashmir, which is in the far northwest of the subcontinent, is theirs. And as it happens, India's Foreign Minister Salman Khurshid is visiting Paris and joins me today. Minister, thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah.
First of all, this latest round of clashes comes after a period of sort of better relations between the 2 countries. In recent weeks, you've had a more liberal visa program that was announced. You also had the Pakistani cricket team come and visit and complete a tour, and the first time in 5 years. You've said, however, that in response to what's occurred, that there will be a proportionate response. What exactly do you mean?
Exactly that. We believe we've invested a lot in this peace initiative. I imagine both sides have. We certainly have. And we've done it even when there have been sections of public opinion that have said, don't do this. We've allowed them to come for a cricket match. We've gone along with what we believe is a beneficial visa regime. We have a lot of issues that still need to be accounted for and answered, and on which delivery hasn't been made. There was a terrible attack 2008 in Mumbai. We need a lot of satisfaction on that. Despite that, we've felt that it's important for peace that we move forward, and that's what we've done. And now suddenly we are presented with a ghastly incident. We've described it as barbaric. We've said it's inhuman. But at the same time, we've not lost our cool, because we do believe that you cannot change your neighbors. You have to live with your neighbors, but not at the cost which is being inflicted on us again and again. So we need to weigh everything together, and we sent a strong message, hoping that we will get a response. We're still waiting.
As you say, you're still waiting, but clearly, as far as both sides are concerned, there's no interest in further escalation, is there?
Well, not from our side, certainly not from our side. And if it means that we have to take an unpopular decision, we still are willing to do so, because we believe the long-term benefits to the region and to both our countries are enormous. We can certainly see that, and I hope that across the border they see it as well. And therefore, we will not lose an investment easily. But at the same time, we have a responsibility to our people. We have a responsibility to the families of those young men whose body were mutilated. It's unacceptable, and we need to make a very, very clear position of this.
But your government's in a very tough position, because there's a very strong nationalist opposition. For instance, just in recent days, the Shiv Sena, a Hindu nationalist political party, has called on India to nuke Pakistan in retaliation. That doesn't make your job very easy, does it?
Well, no, it doesn't. But I think when we use the word proportionate response, it was said not only for people across the border, but it was also said to our own people. It's a very responsible position that we find ourselves in, and we understand our sense of responsibility. We obviously cannot be swayed by emotion. We cannot allow our responsibility to go to smithereens simply because there is an enormous emotional pressure on us.
Minister, still the ongoing conflict in Kashmir seems to prevent any true resolution to lingering issues between Delhi and Islamabad. Can you actually see a day when the 2 sides will be able to sit down and sign off on a peace agreement?
Well, I'm given to understand that in the past 50 years, we've come close to that, not once, but several times. I think we all work towards a dream situation of the kind that you've talked of. And I think it's understood on both sides that there are issues that we cannot resolve in a hurry. But the fact that we cannot resolve those issues doesn't mean that we shouldn't work on improving our relations in other many ways in which we have attempted to do so. And that's possible, and that's, there is proof of that over the last few years. But obviously, the growing peace constituency in both countries has to take into account that there are people who don't want peace. And should we be falling prey to their machinations or their scheming methods? This is a big question that leadership on both sides has to answer.
What other measures, however, could your government pursue if things do get worse between your country and Pakistan?
Well, you know, there have been times that we've switched off. After all, we stopped playing cricket. And there is desire on both sides to play cricket. That's why we started playing cricket. There are issues of trade, there are issues of water, there are issues of exchange of visits from both sides. There is the larger SAARC region in which many countries need to cooperate. And then Pakistan needs India. If Pakistan needs to communicate with the larger neighborhood, if it needs to communicate with the ASEAN countries and beyond ASEAN. So I think there is great interdependence in the entire region. And life's not very easy for them on their western border either. So it seems to me somewhat short-sighted and myopic to want to ruin anything that's leading towards peace on the eastern border.
Now, the other issue in India that has been attracting world headlines is recently is that horrific rape and subsequent death of the young student. The UN Human Rights Chief calls rape in India a national problem. The government is saying that it needs to move forward in changing laws, but it's not the sort of image that an emerging economic powerhouse wants to portray to the rest of the world, is it?
See, I don't want to shrug off something that we all take extremely seriously, because we're all very, very, very sadly affected by what happened. And I believe that one such incident is one too many. We have laws in the country. We have rule of law. We have a working system. We have women in high places and in important places. We have women in the police. And let's not forget that the very policing area where this incident happened is under the charge of a lady police officer. So things can go wrong despite best efforts. And they do go wrong in other parts of the world as well. But I'm not sure that in the West, things that go wrong are reported quite in the manner in which our very free, vigorously free media reports it. So serious as it is, this is not the entire story about India. But to the extent that it requires being addressed, we will address it.
But one story that did emerge subsequent to that rape is the number of politicians facing allegations of crime against women. According to media reports, 6 state parliamentarians are facing rape prosecutions, while 2 national parliamentarians are facing charges of crimes against women that fall short of rape. It seems to be not so much changing the law, but changing the mindset.
Well, yes, I know it's a matter of changing mindsets, and I think that it shouldn't be seen in isolation of a lot of social norms and mores that many of us disagree with, that we want change, that change for which was advocated by none other than Mahatma Gandhi. It's the same country where we once outlawed sati, which was a widow, immersing herself onto the pyre of a dead husband, and we outlawed it. We we eliminated it. We've come from all the way from there to have the same state where this happened, have a chief minister who's a woman. We've had presidents and judges and people in the armed forces and the field of journalism. But yes, there are still social mores that we need to fight. There's still parts of India where someone might still complain that they have been treated as an untouchable, and we have laws against that. So we need to inflict sanction. We need to improve our laws wherever there is experience that shows that we need to do so. But I don't think one should look at it as a very grim picture all along. These are aberrations. These are not large-scale, pervasive events that should paint the whole country in that colour.
Finally, the other concern for your government is the economy. Now, last October, the International Monetary Fund cut its prediction for real economic growth in 2012 to 4.9%, the lowest in a decade. Yet your government seems to be struggling with fiscal deficit, inflation and a weak balance of payments, doesn't it? I mean, it's...
Yes, that's a problem. But that's a problem in a world where the Americans are struggling against the fiscal cliff. Europe is talking about 0.8% growth. The more pragmatic and realistic people are saying 0% growth. We are talking of 6%. International institutions said we'll have 5%. Now, if we gave France 5% growth in exchange for something that you gave us, you would be the happiest country in the world. So there's a lot going for us, but that's not to say that all is well. We obviously have come down from 9% to 5.5%, and we're expecting 6%. But we have the largest food subsidy program in the country now. We have the largest employment guarantee program in the country now. We have the largest health insurance program in the world, in the country now. We have free education for the largest number of students anywhere in the world. Between the ages of 6 and 14, and all this contributes to a deficit. Yes, that's a price that we have to pay for egalitarian and equitable society.
Minister, thank you very much for your time, and that's it for this edition of the France 24 interview. Do stay with us here on France 24.